everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at this game.
Joey, pronounce it.
Rauha.
Joey knows how to do it.
I don't know if that's right.
Rauha.
Rauha.
No, I don't know how it is.
Rauha.
The name didn't attract me, but the designers are a good pairing. This is Johannes Guppe and Theo Rivera. Guppe did Orichalcum, which a lot of people have liked. I've not played that one. And Theo has done a ton of stuff. I guess his most popular one this year is Sea Salt and Pepper. He's involved in that.
Okay, yeah.
I've not played that one yet.
So they're a good pairing. They make lighter games for the most part, both of them. And this one is a lighter, I'm using that term amongst gamers. I'm sorry, let me tell you. It's after millennia of sterility, life has sprung up again on this place. And you are a shaman moving your avatar around the world to shape it and turn it into a cradle of life energy.
That's definitely what you're doing.
Yeah.
Feel that.
Felt that theme. 100%.
You know, it's bad because in this game, you're putting buildings and stuff out, and if you ask me what those buildings look like, I don't remember.
One's a mushroom.
Yeah, the mushroom I remember.
Tree.
There's a rock.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so it's a
Some
little
water
theme.
mountains.
Let's show you how to play it.
Here's the setup of Rauha on the table. This is an individual player board over here from where you'll be drafting cards and placing them onto. And then this is the central area. And though it looks a little bit busy, these are basically little special power things that are off to the side that I'll explain shortly. And then a score track here in the middle with a little bit of a player aid there. The point of the game is that over the course of 4 rounds, you'll be drafting cards and then placing them into your little tableau over here. The way that you do so is that you'll draft 3 cards. This is going to be kept track of by your avatar over here. Every player is going to simultaneously have these in the same spot. They'll take a card from the moon side. Now, I'm sitting here in the bottom, in between this moon side of this board here and the star side of this board here. So on the moon rounds, I'll be taking the cards from this stack, looking at them, and then choosing one of them to play out. I can either take a card, and we all simultaneously, players all do this. They take from the cards on the left. I could take one of these and place it face up onto any area of my board, or I could discard it out here to the black hole, the vortex, to get 4 crystals, which is the main currency of the game, or to add out one of these spores, which I will talk about here shortly. I choose to play this one out here, for example, and this one is going to cost me 2 of the crystals in order to place it onto my board. I spend that, I'm good, these cards go back. After all players have simultaneously done that, they will then activate the row or the column that their avatar resides in. So in this case, I can activate this. I would get a crystal from this space, get a crystal from this space, and 1 energy or 1 victory point from this space. I would move forward. After all players have done this, their avatar advances, so we'll go through, and now we're going to draft from the star side of our board. This player chose this one. So now I'm going to look at these cards here and see that I want to, let's say that I built this, and then I'm going to build this one down here. So on my turn, I spend crystals in order to build this card. Now, as we go to activate the rows or the columns, one thing that I get to declare is that, hey, I have built 3 landscape types in a row. And so then in player order, and this is where points matter because player order for this is determined on who has the most points. I get to go first. I declare that I have 3 mountainscapes in a row, so I'm now going to be able to grab this mountainscape tile, this deity or being. I get to recruit them basically to my area, and I get their effect. A lot of these have an instant effect, some way of earning points or maybe earning resources. And then if I still keep this, when I get to the end of each round, each side of the board here representing 3 turns is also 1 round. If I still keep these, I would get to activate them again. Now, they can be stolen from me. Let's say that in this same round, yellow also accomplished 3 mountains in a row because they are next in turn order. They would take this away from me and the yellow player would be able to keep it. So player order kind of matters, and in a future round, this could also be taken away from me. So there you go. We do this, and now I activate this row, or this column here that the avatar is in. Once we've all done that, we advance. We draft again from the left side. This card was taken out. I take from 2 cards. I place one of them out Hurrah! And then I discard the last one into the black hole. After 3 rounds of drafting cards, the avatar will move here to the corner, showing a bit of an income phase. 3 important things happen here. First, if you have any of these tokens that show an ongoing scoring and you have not had it taken away from you, you get to activate it. So in this case, for every spore that I have on my board, I would earn some points. Then you can activate all of the tiles or the cards you have on your board that show a spore on it. This one here gives me points for having more hoof type animals on the board. This one gives me guaranteed just 1 point, and this one here gives me a point for every spore that I have on the board. The third thing that happens is we'll compare water. The player who has the least amount of water will not score any points. Every other player compares how much water they have from cards here or maybe these little deities. In this case, I have 5. If another player had 2 water, that was the least, then everybody's going to subtract 2 from the amount of water they have. In this case, I would have 3 water, so I consulted this chart here. For having 3 more water than the player with the least, I would earn 6 more points. And that's the income phase. At the end of this, we move to the next phase. We would re-deal out 4 new cards to each of these boards here from the Era 1 deck. After we go through and we activate all of these, we do scoring, and then we're going to set out cards from the Era 2 deck, where these cards are stronger, maybe have multiple landscape types so you can get more of these bonuses. They also show animals, and so if you get 3 animal types in a row, so if I were able to get, say, 3 hooves in a row, and you can overbuild cards at any point, I could also claim these abilities over here, which will give me instant and ongoing bonuses so long as I hold this at the end of each of the scoring rounds. And then at the end of the game, we do one last scoring, fire off water and fire off the spores, and then whoever has the most points is the winner.
One of the things I really like about this game is it's smooth. You know, sometimes we say games are clunky.
Right.
And this just, you put a card out, you take the thing, you run it, next person. I like that.
I do too.
I would say the only thing that messes that up is the turn order keeps changing. And so in a higher player count game, it's like, whose turn is it again? Wait, you went, I was supposed to, I don't know. We struggled with that.
Oh.
With knowing who was next. And so it was like, you'd have these pauses because someone didn't realize they were next because they weren't second last turn, and now they are.
It would not hurt for it to have a turn order track.
I agree.
And not just the points.
Yes, because the points will move in the middle of a round.
Yes.
Well, if someone's alpha gaming, and I'm not saying I do that, they will just tell everyone when it's their turn.
That's true.
We needed you, Tom.
You're too nice.
We needed you.
Sometimes alpha gaming's good. Yeah, I get that. There's that. But, I mean, on your turn itself.
Sure.
Now,
Really simple.
I also like the whole where you take from right over here, if it's the moon, then the stars over here, and you go back. I don't know how much of a difference that makes between just straight drafting, but it's interesting. I like that because you're like, okay, I kind of want that card, but maybe it'll be there when I go back, and then you go over here.
That's only in your first pull.
Right.
Your second pull, that's the only time you'll pull from that group.
And
That's true.
that's true. See, but I like that. Do you like that more than just the drafting?
It's the same.
I know.
I wonder if it's so that you just have to pay attention to the 2 people next to you.
I don't.
Because, I mean, I don't. But if you wanted to hate draft something, throw away a card,
Oh,
get
my word.
some gems,
Yeah.
you could look at the people next to you and you could decide. Whereas seeing that person, the corner of you is too
that's
far
true.
away.
Stop them.
From getting, if they're getting that straight run. Of,
And that's a big
Yeah.
deal. Those straight runs.
That-
Yeah,
no,
especially if
they're
you're
huge.
especially if
Yeah.
you're the owner of that tile at the moment.
Yeah. I guess it just keeps you invested in both sides if you're going to be looking, because that's the only thing I would look for. I wouldn't sit there and study your engine. I wouldn't study what you have going on. I would just basically be like, if I take this water one away, you're not going to take the 3 water deity thing from me.
Actually, I do watch my neighbors. I watch everyone for water.
I do too. That's
Water
the
is
biggest
such a
thing.
big swing of points that I'm either in the water game, or if I'm not in a water game, you don't want to have so little that you're giving 15 points to somebody.
Right.
Gatorade is
everybody.
better.
Yeah, but you
Water
also,
sucks.
I don't want to take a water tile just to take a water tile if it's going to mean nothing to me.
But you could chuck it. You could chuck it for
Exactly. I'm not going to
$crystal.
put it on my board if it does nothing for me. I might chuck it so no one else
You
gets
might
it.
if it makes the icons match.
To still water. I mean,
No. If you
it
make
can
the
be mixed
icons
with a
to
different
take one
icon.
of
Yeah.
Those
Then you get the 2 extra water
spirit
deities.
whatever they are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You're a shaman. This world is called Rauha. The theme...
Spores.
Spores? Yeah.
Oh my.
Spores
the theme,
reactivate.
It's like...
The theme is as close as possible to getting in the way without really getting in the way. But it's like almost there. That being said, at least it's really beige.
Oh, it's really, really beige.
Now,
So-
normally I shoot down beige,
Okay.
even though Wendy loves it. But in this case, I don't mind the beige because it makes the icons pop off it more.
It is.
Yeah.
I need to see those icons.
It's pretty easy to read. Part is well done, and I do just kind of like that little. I like that you're going to be covering up stuff of your own because you have such a small grid to work in. Sometimes it feels restrictive, but after a few turns you realize this is good that it's restrictive, as restrictive as it is, because I'm going to cover up something that I'm going to say, oh, I wish I still had that, but this new thing is going to be better. So that part I do like.
Go ahead. Well, the game is so short that, I mean, I feel bad covering up a card I already placed because later that card's not important, and now I feel like I don't want to cover up another card, because those are the upgrades that you have. So the shortness of the game is good, but also sometimes I feel like it's too short, which I feel like a game should feel for me.
You feel like it's good that it's too short?
I think so, because I would like it, because before I never get that engine going, because by the time I'm there, I'm like, almost there, and then I get beat by 40.
See, I realize that's what I struggle with this. So I like the beige. I like the time frame.
That should not be a positive
That's
thing.
crazy.
It's not a positive thing. It's just a thing. It just
positive
exists.
thing.
No, I'm fine with the beige. It's whatever. But I've come to realize that this is an engine builder, and I love engine builders, but I don't get to build enough. The game is over too quickly. I don't get to appreciate it. And because the way you're working around the outside, those spaces don't get hit very often. So I could get a really good card that lines up really well for some things, and then I spend a lot of crystals to get on my board, and it gets triggered once.
Right.
And so I found that this was not the interesting game that I was hoping it to be, because from the rule set, it sounded really exciting. It sounded a lot of fun. And after playing it a couple times, I just realized that it doesn't give me enough of those endorphin hits for how simple and light of a game it is. I want more quicker for how the actual gameplay is short.
I think
make
that's
sense?
a feature for me rather than a bug.
Really?
This game is the perfect length for me. At first I thought, wow, we're only going around 12 times. But I like
Crazy.
it. That also makes those decisions of when to put the little token
Spores?
on. I don't know what it means.
Spores?
Is it spores?
Yeah,
Okay.
those spores.
Spore tokens, because then that does activate more times. It will activate in each corner, which is cool. And I like that combo mixed with the fact that sometimes I put a tile out. I don't care if I ever use it, but I made 3 in a row. And that
Yeah.
works too. And if this was longer, I think I wouldn't like it. I don't think for me, it's not an engine building game. There's a little bit of engine building. For me, it's scrabble as much as you can each turn and hope you beat everybody else.
It's a game of opportunism. Hey, I could put this out in this row that fires off right now, or I could place it over where I already have a spore, maybe, and then it'll fire off 2 more times, maybe a third one if I happen to have... I don't know, where you invest early with your spore tokens will kind of matter a lot in the end game as you start getting those better cards out, I guess.
It will. And so I think the thing is Tom, is it doesn't have to be an engine builder, but if you have someone at the table that builds an engine and nobody else does, they're winning by a mile. And so it is an engine builder because that's the ideal way to play it, but the cards just come out so randomly that you may never get cards that really jive together, and you just can't build an engine.
I will say it's pretty funny how that happens too, because I'm like, I'm getting the one to get a point for every hoof. Because I know I've got 2. And into the game, I still had 2. Because I just couldn't get those cards. Or when I did get them, I didn't have the 6 crystals to pay for it.
Yes.
So, and that's the worst feeling. It's like, I'd love to have that card, but I can't. But I do like that, It makes me want to play it again and try a different strategy on that.
So what would you guys give it? I don't really know where to start because I don't know what everyone's thinking about.
I'm probably going to be lowest. I'm going to come in at a 5 for this. I wanted to like it, but at the end of the day, I think just the randomness of the card draw made it so that there were times that I couldn't build an engine, and I just felt like I was just clunking along. Like, where am I going? What am I building? I'm doing nothing. Like, I'm getting a couple points here and there. But then there's other times that I've had engine, and I've been like, ooh, this is exciting. but then it didn't get there enough for me. And so, yeah, just it doesn't have those endorphins, and I feel like there's so many better games out there that will do what I want this to do that it almost does, but it's just not there.
I'm coming in at a 7 for this one. I really enjoyed it. I will say that the first few rounds feel very slight. They feel very minimal. You know, put out a card, get 2 crystals and a point. You know what I mean? That's pretty much going to be the opening turn every time.
Yes. Well, on side A, I think it changed up on side B.
Unless you
but-
ditch a card for 4 crystals.
That's a good point. But
For your first card.
yeah, so it's going to start, I think, pretty slight, no matter what. But I am impressed where it ends up going with that. I think my biggest complaint with it being that turn order in like a 4-player game, where you're like, yes, I completed 3 trees in a row, and I get the, oh, you did 2. It was nice having this deity token for like half a second. You know what I mean? And that happens. That's a little bit aggravating, but the game is also.
I think it's a catch-up mechanism. It doesn't bother me as much.
It is smart that it is done that way. It is just a little bit of that feeling of I got something and had it taken away from me, rather than, I don't know if if there's almost a cleaner way to do it, where like the last person who completed this in turn order gets it. I'd be like, you got me.
You still get the benefit of it when you take it.
I know. It's a weird feeling
You're
that I can't
selfish,
shake.
Chris, is what I'm hearing.
We're all selfish.
I think it only really matters with
games,
the water
yes.
one, or if you're just about to turn a corner.
Or getting the crystals, or to get points, and you're about to turn a corner.
Yeah, turning
Yeah.
a corner is a big deal.
Turning a corner makes a big deal.
Yeah.
I will come in probably a bit higher than that. I'm at 7.5, mainly because I do like the game. I think it flows. I think it teaches well. Everything on there works together. And also, I feel like it hits that kind of area that very few games do, where it's not a filler game. I think it's a bit heavier than a filler game, but it's still easy to get to the table, teach the rules, where you're going. And by the time you hit that first corner, I really think by the time you do the first draft, you know where you're going. You know how the game plays. And it's there are some problems, I think, as far as it is lucky with getting the cards and stuff, but it is a fairly quick, snappy game. And I like the different strategies that it has. You focus on the crystals, focus on the points, and I haven't figured out the strategy yet, so don't ask me. I lose by a lot. But it's sometimes you get it and you get it going. I do enjoy it. I think it's a fun, quick game. Again, not a filler, but it's a fun, quick game. Easy to learn.
Quick, snappy turn.
Quick, snappy turns. QST. That was hard.
Anyhow, I am also giving it a 7.5. I don't know if this is just where I'm at. I'm starting to think that as a gamer, I love the big giant games, but these are the games I crave, the ones I can play in 45 minutes. And I had such a good time, I'm like, let's do that again. Even though playing this twice is the same as a longer game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This gives me every turn I can get some cool stuff. Even if I don't get as cool stuff as you, I got some stuff. I took one of those things. You might have taken it from me, but I got it. And now I'm set up to take another thing from someone else.
Yeah.
Cards with 2 symbols. I might get 2 in the same turn, which
Oh,
feels
that's
really
good.
awesome.
And when they meet,
It has a 7 Wonders feel. You know, throw the card for money. Or for those
the spores.
Spore, which is a big deal.
I do feel like that's very powerful. Like getting rid of a card is a good action in this game, which a lot of games it's not.
And you flip the spores to activate
Yeah,
it?
because 4 is enough to buy almost any card except the very high-end ones.
Right.
And the Spore is great.
It's huge.
Really
Especially,
bad.
it's not a terrible first turn action, actually,
I know.
because you can put a Spore anywhere on the board and later on put a good card there and it's going to activate.
I like
do
that
like that.
part. Be able to lift it and put the spore on top.
Yes.
I would actually be, I think I would drop the game a whole point if that wasn't in there.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Big time.
So it's enjoyable for me. I'll never be able to pronounce it, and I do wonder if this will be lost in the annals of the year. We'll see where it ends up, but I think people are going to enjoy playing it a lot. And the art, even though it's confined to this very small section of the box, is nice, and it just somehow it's getting drowned out by beige.
A lot of beige.
Yeah, and also the moon and stars should have been different colors. So anyway, that's minor stuff.
I don't mind beige.
There you go. Rauha. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Shaman Chris.
Rauha.
Rauha.
Raula.
Auha.
Ro, ra, 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 ra.
Rauha. Baby Rauha.